Hey, my darlings. Okay, so I stopped a little bit to do some roulettes with a couple of my FC members. Now I'm going to continue with the story for a little bit more. See how far I can get before going to sleep. With the tower gone, I expect that the state of alert will be lifted. On leisure. I'll leave my post. I'm afraid you must make your own way. Should you require directions in the city, the sentries stationed at the fountain atop the steps should be glad to assist you. Hail, adventurer. If you wish to leave the city, then I will escort you to the gate. Nah. Though I have been to Raz-Hatan before, this place is a veritable maze. Rather than risk getting lost, we'd best ask for directions from the sentry at the fountain. Lead the way, and don't expect me to act as your tour guide like certain others. First we should seek out the sentry in front of the fountain. Name of the fountain? No idea. Do fountains normally have names? Mistress Elita. I presume? I understand you are here for an audience with the Satrap. If you require directions to Magadala, I should be glad to provide them. The Satrap's residence is situated in Dharma, the highest part of the Rajasthan. To get there, I would normally recommend a route that takes you by the bazaars in the city's north. Due to the state of alert, however, most businesses are currently closed and the Etherite disabled. I will provide you with an alternate path. Please ascend the steps next to this fountain and continue left. There will be more steps, and upon ascending them, you will emerge on Pasca's path. Proceed through the large door on the right, and you will arrive at Ludovic's Fibers. Within you will find another sentry, who will give you further guidance. In other words, we head up. Sounds straightforward enough. If you wish to hear the directions again, but of course, to get to Magnesia, you first ascend the steps to the fountain and continue left. Up more steps, and send them your immersion Pasca's path. Proceed through the large door on the right, and you will arrive in Fibers. We find no such as further out somewhere. You heard the sentry, we head up. According to Messenger basis, Etherite has been temporarily disabled. Damn it, I can't attune myself to it. Well, I wouldn't give to find an expert artisan. Oh, you must be Elita. Mrs. Rowing has told me all about you. Says you're quite a renowned weaver. My name's Ophelia, by the way. The mistress has charged me with managing the Red Dan branch. Looking forward to doing business with you. Which isn't to say I ain't got nothing special to ask of you. I mean, all your business is just as welcome here as at any house of splendors. Of course, I'd certainly prefer you to do more of your business here than anywhere else. Esteemed clients like yourself attract more customers, you see. And if we keep drawing in business at a good clip, before long we'll have to rebrand as Ophelia's House of Splendors. That old witch won't know what hit her. Don't worry about that part. Just peruse the wares and buy something if it strikes your fancy. Welcome to Ophelia's House of Splendors. The name's not official yet, but don't let that stop you from doing business with me. Good morrow, madam. If you wish to trade scripts for goods, then allow me to be of service. Welcome, Mr. Draconia. We have an extensive collection of wares available, should you care to browse them. Business isn't exactly booming. It's barely making a peep, in fact. Any customers I do get are forced to leave before they get as much sense of good wares. At this rate, I'll be forced to close up shop. I take it you're here to exchange materia then? Let's just be about it. Me? Why, but I am a humble servant of Master Mutamix, charged with aiding those who would avail themselves of the power material but lack the skills to do so. That is to say, I can affix materials to your items, providing you supply me with both, and that the item in question has an open material slot. And of course I will require compensation. Much as I enjoy my trade, I cannot work for free. Greetings and welcome to Meridi's Meridian. The drinks are strong and the entertaining dazzling. If our menu proves too overwhelming, might I point you in the direction of a delicious armor liquor? You want to play a couple of games do you? That's the game I brought from Alderman back in the day, isn't it? Sorry, but I'm not in the mood. Maybe another time. Welcome to my humble Mahane. I'm Marietta, the proprietor. You might have summarized by the name. If you're looking for recommendations, we have a wide array of spirits distilled by the alchemists at the High Crucible. Our traditional dance performances on the stages over there are also popular among our patrons. I hope you find a moment's respite here. I try to avoid thinking about things that scare me. Sometimes I need a little help distracting myself, usually with a stiff drink or some live entertainment. But I always find a way to get by. Meride's Mahane. Owned and run by the eponymous Meride, this Mahane offers slight deals in beverages, and the main draw being its myriad varieties of liquor distilled by local alchemists. Foreign visitors are often entranced by the stage performers whose movements incorporate elements of traditional Flamboyant dance. Come in, please feel free to take a seat anywhere you like. We certainly don't stand on ceremony here. I don't recognize you. You're a traveller, I take it. What am I doing out here? Minding business as you should. You know, rumours of a kidnapping near your Maldi have been bruited about, so apparently an event was prevented only by a visitor in these parts. Was it you? You're an adventurer. Don't see many of your kind coming to Bashan Bazaar. Please do stay a while. You'll find all manner of wares here. Although not at the moment, supplies are a little lackluster these days. What with all that's going on, the place won't last long at this rate. Speak, Elita. Words. A traveller, are you? Not often we see your type around here, especially in these trying times. At any rate, our streets aren't exactly the easiest to navigate, so careful you don't become too lost while you're out. Oh, what a rare pleasure to have a traveller to our fair city. As you know, we typically uh, keep our gates tightly shut for our protection, but please, make yourself welcome, and do not hesitate to inquire if I may be in service in any way. Ah, but where are my manners? I am called Fona, and I have the honour of serving as a clerk for the renowned Bark Consortium. Our consortium can boast among the longest histories of any trading establishment here in Razatan. From our esteemed proprietor to young ones who passionately peddle our wares, each and every one of our employees has devoted their heart and soul to the art of trade. Needless to say, recent times have not been kind to our business, or that of our competitors, for that matter. It's all we can do to see that the long and storied history of the Bank Consortium does not come to an inglorious end. You stand in the free city of Razatan, the jewel of Thavnir, and a veritable melting pot, which draws residents and visitors of all origins and creeds. The very name of this place, in fact, is derived from the word Rad, meaning diverse, and Han, meaning city. Located as we are halfway between East and West, and having signed a non-interference treaty with various nations of the world, our city has developed through the ages into a bustling hub of trade and commerce. Sadly, the recent emergence of the Foreboding Tower has made for frightfully poor business. I could count the number of trade vessels that have arrived at our ports of late on one hand. We have to find a way to preserve through this, lest our once proud civilization be lost forever. Oh, there you are, madame. To look of one who knows a thing or two about the fine craftsmanship, perhaps I could interest you in what I have on offer. I carry on the best, after all. Ah, a customer. Afraid shop is closed for the time being. Stop by again when I have something in order. Do you have business with one of the satraps alchemists at the High Crucible? Visit if you must, but do you well to hold your nose if pungent chemical holders are not to your liking. Welcome to the High Crucible of Alchemia. As hand State Ponter workshop for matters alchemical, from military grade coordinations to solvents for removing stains from your favorite garments. We create it all. Swift work without sacrificing quality, that's our motto here at the High Crucible. Confounded. Where is that reference on fast-acting medicine? I've told him time and time again to return all tome to the shelf after use. The warding skills are absolutely fascinating. I confess, I am itching to experiment with them, as there may be other applications for such talismans. This Siberian climate is so hot and humid that some fruits practically ferment right where they grow on the vine. Most of the fruit tends to spoil quickly as well, which is why we use so many spices, for preservation, you see. Well, when the Hures came to this island, they introduced us to their brand of herbology. The Siberians of the time then combined this newfound science with their pre-existing knowledge to develop the alchemy we know today. We've always relied primarily on merchants that supply us with ingredients. We also go foraging ourselves when we have the occasion. What with things the way they are now, though, both avenues are posing problems. Our stock is holding up for now, but it won't last forever. You're a guest of the Satraps, yes? Through here lies the Hall of the Radiant Host, home of Ratherhand Knight's protectors. I always used to enjoy observing passersby from this bridge. Not much of interest to observe of late, though, thanks to that blasted tower. My grain and spice store were running low, yet what if, in my rush to buy them, I deprived those truly in need? Oh dear, are you lost? Streets can be a bit of a maze to the uninitiated, I grant you. Trade is at a standstill, and foodstuffs are in short supply. We've begun distributing emergency rations to people so people don't starve. We'll run out before soon. Ah, can I help you? Wait, what are you doing in my room? Business has taken a real hit. What with, everything. Now the boss is threatening to fire us. I certainly envy those in Kazal's operation. They're treated decently.
Let's see now. The foodstuffs sent from Czechoslovakia here, and, yes, I must remember to go buy gifts for the villager children afterwards.
Welcome to Rudivis Fiber's proprietary culinary, where we lovingly raise our silkworms to spin the finest fabric in all the realm. The silkworms depend on us to survive, and raising them keeps quite busy, but it's a labour of love and trying to turn a profit. Oh, a traveller, are you? A fine time for a visit, I must say. Well, perhaps you would be of interest in some of our textiles. Thavnir is famous for them, you know. Revia Fibers. The state-sponsored workshop is famed for producing silk thread of exquisite quality. Its sericulture and weaving techniques were once jealously guarded secrets, but security measures have become lax since Oda and other nations began manufacturing their own silk fabrics. The silkworms do love their mulberry leaves. Not they eat other kinds, mind you. These seem to be best option for the little fellow's cocoons.
Welcome to Nipalaka Nourishments, where we specialize in the breeding of hamsa, the traditional livestock of Thavnir, to ensure eggs and livestock of impeccable quality. We're named for our founder Nipalaka, who was the Isle's foremost hamsa breeder, but also developed a method in which the beast's toxin glands could be removed to render the meat edible. A remarkable discovery, wouldn't you agree?
Megaladata. The Palace of Satrap serves not only as a residence, but also as the centre of residence government and the inquiry messenger in the old Arkonsulata. Megaladata was built at the summit of a rocky megalith. Great doors emitting an endless stream of servant, physician, and official visitors. Yeah, I got there eventually. Nipple nourishments. Amazon were originally used for the sole purpose of harvesting their venom, until a breeder by the name of Nippola devised a technique to remove the creature's vile toxin glands. The bird suddenly became a viable source of tender, succulent meat, and before long, hamster dishes were considered a staple of Hanish cuisine. Yay. The skies have been filled with all kinds of fiends since that tower appears on Narinar. In light of this, we've gone ahead and cancelled all flights for the time being. You were right behind me. Heading to Magadata, are you? Oh, in that case, please follow this hallway to my right and go through the door at the top of the stairs. You'll emerge off the airship landing for another sentry should be on hand to assist you. Incidentally, if you ascend the steps to either side of me, you'll find the workshops of Ruthian fibres. Though you're free to observe the artisans, take care not to lose your way. What? With all the shipping routes all closed, our storehouses are practically overflowing. We'll probably need to halt production at some point, but it pains me to deprive our weavers of their work. Quite an ordeal to get to Slapchop's residence. It could stand to be a bit more obvious route, like the one to a vault or Kugani Castle. If you're here for an airship, I'm afraid all flights have been suspended until further notice. So the state of alert is still in effect. Perhaps it's for the best. That aside, we're not here for an airship. It's business at Megaton. Oh, in that case, permit me to direct you. From here it's simple, quite really. Ascend these steps, and then continue straight ahead towards the bridge. You cannot miss it. I remember passing by here with Fuss again. The situation being as it was, he regretted not being able to show us the sights. Life has yet to return to normal here, but when it does, you opt to pay another visit. Though the city is confusing, the food is quite good. I'm partial to Hamza myself. The meat's surprisingly tender and flavourful. Squawk! Squawk! Confusing as it is, you'd think they intend to make a maze out of Razatan. Again, it was flat at least. If you became lost, you could head to higher ground and get your lay of the land. Greetings and welcome to Megadata. May I inquire your business? We are members of the Scions of the Seven Dawn, come at the invitation of His Excellency. Ah, of course, we have been expecting you. I will show you the audience chamber. If you would please follow me.
Are we the last to arrive? I hope we've not kept you waiting.
Not at all. Your comrade is feeling better, I trust.
Much better, thank you. Harness remedies are certainly potent, in more ways than one.
One becomes accustomed to the taste, although I hope you never have cause to do so. Pray, take your ease.
Full glad I am to see you all unharmed.
I'm glad to see you doing better too.
Valiant scions, for your heroism, you have my boundless gratitude. You cast down that dire tower and set free its hapless captives. You cleanse their souls of its corrupting influence. No words of thanks will suffice. In place of platitudes, I offer a bounty of warding scales. Pray accept your due reward, along with the goodwill of Razatan.
Alchemists throughout the land were put to work in the four elements. The finished ones have been collected, and now await you at the High Crucible of Alchemia. Present this letter when you are ready to take them into your possession.
We are humbled by your generosity. Know that the inventive wisdom of Razatan will be vital in restoring serenity to our star.
Every single one of those scales came from you, didn't they? You must still be in such pain.
'Tis of no moment, a mere annoyance compared to the dreadful suffering inflicted upon this land and its people.
Albeit brief, my involvement in the Dragonsong War afforded me a glimpse of the myriad sorrows which consumed both dragon and man. Though you were half a world away, such tragedies as befell your kin must have affected you deeply. And yet, you chose to live among men.
In the age when that conflict first bloomed, my choice had already been made. In some distant place, slew dragon, and dragon slaughtered man. Yet no hate could I muster for those smiling faces which did look to me for guidance. Not even my brother's righteous rage could rally me to his cause. I huddled here, secret and still, hoping against hope that which I had built would remain untouched by the chaos and carnage.
Twould seem we share the same desire for peace, great Vritra. To that end, I wonder if we might trouble you with another question. The Telophoroi are intent on recreating the final days, an apocalyptic event which we know to predate the sundering of the star. As the longest lived among us, know you aught of this terrible cataclysm?
Nay. When war and strife drove my sire from his home, he crossed the great expanse with only our unhatched eggs as company. He alighted upon a shattered source, its 13 reflections long since scattered beyond the rift. Of events preceding his arrival, he knoweth naught, save that which Hydralin hath deigned to disclose.
I see. So again, 'tis the inscrutable Hydaelyn to whom you must look for answers.
Seek you to divine the will of this star? If so, I have a tale which may afford you some small comfort. 'Tis a story from my youth, many, many years ago. To my sire, I once posed the question, of all the stars in the sky, why didst thou settle upon this one? To which Midgardsormr did reply, 'twas the last bastion of hope. He believed so long as Hydaelyn endured, so too might dragonkind. Solemn and portentous were his words. What deeper meaning they held, I could not, dared not pursue. 'Tis a stone I've left unturned ever since. Yet take you solace in the knowledge that whatsoever Hydaelyn does strive towards, 'tis an ideal which hath earned my sire's conviction.
Thank you, Vritra. You've given us warm reassurance in a world gripped by cold uncertainty.
While I'm sure we all have a great many questions, I think it's time we collect the talismans and be on our way. Our fight against the Telophoroi is far from finished.
We must take our leave, but please do inform us if we can provide any further assistance.
Dainty.
Prithee, a moment.
I was waiting for this.
There is one whom my sire hath judged worthy of honor and respect. The one known to men as Eorzea's champion. This hero of renown and rumor, 'tis thee.
I only wish she could be with us here now.
I know of his clash with Omega, and the long slumber which was his price. Yet even closed in sleep, my father's eyes are far from blind. He is watching over thee, watching over this world. 'Twas a revelation most pleasing that thou, a child of man, had gained Midgardsormr's trust. But alongside mine elation runneth a rivulet of dread. For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, wheel enmeshed with woe. Amidst this tangled knot thou shalt know no rest. 'Tis an endless confluence of forces, a struggle without surcease. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence. Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation. The hope thou wilt need come the end. Even cowering behind my curtain, I know the suffering of the powerful. I have watched my siblings driven mad by loss. Thus do I exhort thee to spare no effort to keep thy loved ones safe.
Apologies. We hadn't meant to interrupt.
It's just that we do have a history of suddenly collapsing, and when you didn't follow us out...
'Tis I who must apologize. I have detained your champion overlong with idle chatter. Go. At war's end, I pray I welcome thee back into my hall, where together with thy joyful comrades, you may toast your triumph.
Apologies again. I hope we didn't force you to conclude your conversation prematurely. So, what were you and Vitra talking about? Nothing? Very well, if you say so. The others have gone ahead to the High Crucible. Let's catch up on them. Like his sister Tiamat, Vitra is possessed of a gentle soul. I'm glad they're on our side. Elfinod has a mind to join the others at High Crucible. The attendant was kind enough to give me directions to High Crucible. First, let us return to the Mulberry Orchard. I understand the mulberries are for silkworms, but when the stones throw away from the Satchap's residence, it gives quite the quintessential flamboyant fare, don't you think? From here we're supposed to follow the path left and past the mulberries. The word huge apparently means bind in the local tongue, and this district is so named because it connects all others in the city. If we managed to come this far, we shouldn't have trouble finding the High Crucible, or so I was told. Where the street turns, enter the door straight ahead, and descend the steps. I thought the Crystarium was confusing, but it doesn't compare to Razat-San. The architecture and decorations make it even harder to get your bearings. Anyway, let's see where this door takes us. Seems we're on the right track. And here is the Aetheryte Plaza. So far so good, and there isn't much further to go. From here we just need to cross to the other side of the hall, then pass through the two larger doorways. The High Crucible lies beyond. I suspect the others already collected the Warden scales. Come, let us join them. Though this land has been afforded a respite, in turmoil do many others languish still. Our work is far from finished. You took your time. Got turned around, I take it? Excellent. You're in time to hear the latest good news. I'm quite well now, I assure you. They say the stronger the taste and stranger the colour, the more effective the remedy. With my body trying to replenish the ether I spent, however, I'm feeling rather famished. I think a sampling of the local delicacies in order. Hammer cuisine would be a good place to start, perhaps. As I heard it, after you defeated Nidhogg, his skills found their way into the hands of the Vermin artists. Steeped in powers they are, it's no surprise they were coveted. Still, it's a strange legacy for the vengeful worm. The students have previously turned to Renaissance alchemists to help with the analysis of various artifacts. That is how I became acquainted with Lidana. I'm glad we could rescue her, and I pray she makes a full recovery. What an immense laboratory! How many such places were enlisted to help with the forge forging skills, I wonder? We're last, of course, but at least we found the right place.
These are the talismans we were promised.
Yes, and I made a quick count. There are far more than we could have hoped for. Enough to outfit an entire company of soldiers, in fact. Considering the involved process, that they were able to manufacture so many in such a short span of time is nothing short of a miracle.
Once we have distributed them to our allies in Eorzea and the Far East, we'll have a fighting chance to bring down the other spires, just as we did with the Tower of Zot.
Or we could use them to invade Garlemald proper, and strike directly at the Telophoroid's base of operations. Of course, we would need to consult with various Alliance leaders before such a drastic measure could even be contemplated. To which end, I could set out forthwith and present the idea to each of our allies in person.
Pray allow me to undertake some few of those journeys. I find myself restless and in need of purposeful duties.
I can head eastward. Bosnia and Dalmasca are just a short hop from here. And Doma's shinobi network should come in handy for passing on the word.
We shall share the burden then. Meanwhile, I think it best that you and the others take the talismans back to the Valdesian Annex. We must keep them safe and secure until we've decided upon a course of action.
Please, I must speak with you.
Nidana, you're awake.
Yes. When I spoke with the carer at my bedside, she told me that one of the scions, a young woman, had cleansed me of the tower's corruption. It seems I'd been asleep ever since the treatment. But when I awoke and learned you were all still here, I knew I had to come.
As you said, Nidana was captured only recently. Such a brief exposure is swiftly cured, so I tended to her before we gathered at Megaduta.
And I am truly grateful that you did. I cannot thank you enough. All of you, for everything you've done. Destroying the tower, rescuing our people. You've saved Thavnair from an awful fate.
Yet who hath truly saved whom? Due in no small part to thine inspirational courage, the alchemists were successful in reproducing warding scales of proven efficacy. Replications of thy work now stand ready to travel across the seas, unto the hands of those who might wield them against this rising evil.
The talisman? Is this true? Oh, I was so groggy from sleep. I didn't even think to ask. Oh, our great work sent across the seas. It was worth it. Oh, it was all worth it.
Look at that! Its color is completely changed.
What do you have there? How unusual. I wonder if the effect is a reaction to Akasha.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term.
Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Harnish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feelings.
You imply that it is distinct from ether?
Us foreign scholars often conflate the two, but we see them as separate concepts. Ether is an energy which permeates the land. It exists within animals, objects, even the air we breathe, affecting all through which it flows. Akasha, on the other hand, exists in a domain beyond our reach. A gift bestowed from on high, or torn from the heavens in some traditions. Akasha can neither be created nor destroyed. It is beyond our power to purposefully alter or manipulate. The only thing observed to influence it is an abundance of, I want to say, spiritual emotion. As a veteran of the battlefield, surely you've experienced moments of desperation or exaltation when you've transcended the usual limits of your capabilities. That is a manifestation of Akasha, the invisible essence harnessed by heart, mind, and unyielding spirit.
I really must hear more about this theory. Our disciplines are based entirely upon the idea that ether is the fundamental form of all energy.
I'm glad my haphazard explanation has piqued your interest. But even for us, Akasha is a somewhat abstract field of study. A lack of practical application lends itself poorly to formalized research. Which is why my analysis of your flower can amount to little more than idle speculation. I am sorry.
Nonsense! You have nothing to be sorry for. Your insight is much appreciated.
Shall we depart for Charlian, then? I will see to it that the talismans arrive at the Annex.
And we will be in touch once our talks are concluded. I suggest you rest while you can. From here onward, sleep is bound to be in short supply.
The last thing I remember before being observed into the tower was you rushing towards me. I can only imagine the hardships you and yours must have overcome to rescue us. No amount of words will suffice to express my gratitude, but I hope the flower's radiant glow is everything I cannot. It's good to be back, and with the fruit of our labour safely in storage. For now we have but to wait for others to return from their respective meetings with their land leaders. As Thangren suggested, you should get some rest in the meantime. Your chamber is comfortable, I hope. If it's cold in there, just let me know. We have plenty of blankets to spare. Welcome back, Elita. Prowls appraised me of your leech's accomplishments. What an amazing feat to eliminate a tower and pave the way to deal with the rest. Well, it isn't much. I've changed your sheets and plumped your pillow. After all, there's nothing like collapsing a nice clean bed after completing a major milestone.
penning a thesis or defeating the four entities. So, would you like to take a look at your new recruit lodgings now? Oh, it's gone back to being grey again.
Take heart and protect them well.
I will. Hey!
Good! You're here! You haven't eaten yet, have you? We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
Lest you wonder, we invited Estinian as well. But he refused with a rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Sharlayan cuisine is not to his liking.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Sharlayan feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
An excellent idea. Of all people, warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinian, beset on all sides.
Speaking of one's physical condition, Mistress Cryle, I hear you recently played literal host to Heidelin herself.
Experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
Maybe she's grown weaker.
Heidelin instructed you to carry that flower, yes? 'Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it? Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Radzat-Han?
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow, as if reflecting the elation we all felt, the relief of a people with renewed hope.
Indeed, and in turn I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telophoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans. But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won perhaps, but it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day. Hey, that's mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle. Mayhap I simply require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion.
Go on.
They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
Oh!
Are we pushing on until dawn?
I'm not that ambitious. But 'tis pleasant to idle away the hours every once in a while.
Yeah. It changed color. Happy. Oh, yeah.
Ah! Enjoying the bracing cold, I see. Do you not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur? Or fashioned from the skins of your enemies? Or... well, never mind that. I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom. Given how many we have at our disposal, the loss of a single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon the ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
Yes, very well then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome. Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is... equal. Equally tedious. Equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke.
But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough to set my soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow until the void yawned once more, and then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn, burn, let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
How wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken. For I do find this part somewhat enjoyable. You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing, disjointed, all the faces incomplete. The setting, too, was unknown to me, so I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth. Much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream, too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
I hope you didn't mind barging into your room for a late-night feast. For what it's worth, it did me a world of good to put our troubles to one side, if only for a moment. Kyle and Grahatia were having a pleasant conversation until you barged in. Oh, there you are. Feeling refreshed, I hope? I was about to make my way to the studium as it happens. I wanted to try and speak to Scholar Montague and found him for coming to our rescue in the roster. As it turns out, he'd come here to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed North Avenue. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to truly cut with his former students. Since we're waiting for you stolen heroes, I thought now's the perfect time to pay him a visit. Care to join me? And it's settled. The twins will be coming too, assuming Alphonse can tear himself away from his new toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go on ahead to Phenomenon. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I should avoid showing my face around the studium for a time. That might be for the best. If the others should return, tell them we will not be long. Unlike some of the science, I am not an alumni of the studium. As such, I have no acquaintances. There I am obliged to visit.
While I would love for nothing more to pour from many great tomes of phenomenon, I fear my presence there will start more unwanted trouble. So, for now, I will be patient, much as it pains me to do so. I think I will stop there for now. I will resume playing in the morning. Till then, sleep well, sweet dreams everyone. And I will see you next time. Bye for now, love you all.